Good afternoon, guys. This is Sheila D. This is Mama Payway and Mama Von Von. Guys, I want to get right into this video. And what we are going to prepare today is what they call crawfish tails. And you can buy these at any of your store. Also, guys, it have a recipe on the back of your crawfish when you buy it. But anyway, it says clean Louisiana crawfish tails. Guys, make sure you rinse your tails before you cook them. Also, guys, I have a recipe for you, so I am going to turn the stove on high because we want to get this skillet here hot. Guys, if you want, for this recipe that I am going to show you today, you can use this for your recipe, but I'm not going to use this, okay? But I wanted to show you this brand. And I am going to make this a particular base, but we're going to do it the homemade way, okay? So let's get right into our video, guys. First of all, we are going to take our flour and we're going to put it in the skillet here. As you can see, guys, I don't have any oil or grease in this pan, okay? So what we are going to do is we are going to let this flour just get as brown as possible, because this is going to be our base, okay? Now, like I said, guys, if you don't like making your homemade base, just browning your flour on top of the stove, like I am doing, you always can use something like what I showed you in the box, and I think that is one of Tony's recipe from New Orleans, and that is that particular base have a wonderful flavor, but I like to make mine homemade sometimes. So we are going to let this flour get brown, guys, as brown as we can, without no oils or grease, okay? Just keep stirring, guys, until this flour get brown. You do not want to burn your flour, okay? You just want to brown it. Keep stirring, guys, until your flour brown. Now, guys, you have to be careful with this recipe, and you have to make sure you watch your flour base, okay? Now, with this recipe that I am preparing, you can eat this particular recipe over potatoes, a baked potato. You can put it over rice. You can eat it plain. You can eat it like a wrap. Whatever you prefer, you can put it in your salads. But I am making a flour base because I am going to eat this particular recipe over rice, guys. And as you can see, our flour is getting brown, okay? Keep stirring, guys. This recipe takes a lot of patience, guys, because you want to keep stirring this flour. You do not want to burn your base, okay? You want a good flavor in this base, so you don't want it burned. But you do want this flour brown. Now guys, I had another video on my page, how to make brown gravy. So this is pretty much what I am doing. It's making like a brown gravy for that crawfish, okay? Now this recipe is a real popular recipe in Louisiana, New Orleans. My mother used to cook this recipe, just like this, guys. So I am really giving you my mother recipe. So you see, as our flour get brown, we did not need no butter, no oil, no shortening, no grease, nothing to brown this flour, okay? You can brown flour and make you a good gravy, brown gravy, like a base for your crawfish or your shrimp, right on the stove with just some brown flour, okay? You're gonna brown the flour. Now as you can see, our flour is getting brown, okay? Now if you want your flour to be a little browner, just keep cooking it. But make sure you stir this recipe. Okay guys, we're gonna get into mixing this because I don't want to keep you long on this video. But I wanted to share this recipe. Guys, this is how you make brown gravy, okay? Without any oils. So then we have a cup of water here. We're gonna pour it into our recipe. And I am going to get a little more water, guys, just in case we need it for this recipe, okay? So guys, I think we're gonna have to have another cup of water in this recipe. So we got another cup of water in this recipe, and as you can see, our base is brown. Okay, so stir it up, guys. Make sure you get all the lumps out of it. And then we are going to get right into mixing this recipe, guys. We are going to put the crawfish in last, guys. Because once you put your crawfish in this recipe, it only takes about 7 or 8 minutes. So we are going to get into the recipe. Okay, guys. We are going to put a small onion in this recipe. We are going to put some green onions in this recipe. We are going to cut this down just a little bit and just let it simmer. Also, I have some salt. We are going to add a little salt into this recipe just to kick the flavor up a little bit. Okay. We are going to put just a drop of the crawfish and shrimp boil, okay? Just a drop. We just want a little flavor, okay? That's all we need. Moving on, guys. We are going to put just a little Old Bay, just a little bit, because this crawfish is the king in this recipe. So we don't want to take the flavor away from our crawfish, but we want it seasoned really good. Guys, I am going to put some salt and pepper and garlic blend into this recipe. Also, guys, sometimes I take and I cut up me about maybe 4 cloves of fresh garlic, and I also put into this recipe. Give it a good mix, guys. And we're gonna move on and just let that cook. I think I want to add a few more pieces of green onions in this recipe. I'm gonna put a little black pepper in the recipe. Give it a good mix, guys. Then we are going to add, this is a seafood season. We're gonna add just a little dash, not too much. Like I said, we want that crawfish flavor. So after we put all our ingredients into our brown gravy, we are going to take and add our crawfish. Rinse your crawfish and add it into your recipe, okay? Then we are going to let this recipe cook for a few minutes, guys. And we are going to take and put this over rice, okay? I have a little dry onion here, minced onion, so I'm gonna dash a little bit in there. It's not gonna hurt it to give it a little bit more flavor. So as you can see, guys, it's cooking up pretty good. So we got all our season into this recipe. We have seasoned this recipe really well, guys. We have our rice in the back cooking over there. We are going to let this recipe cook for about 7 or 8 minutes. So we're just going to let that cook up and mix well, guys. And guys, you want your sauce or your gravy thick, okay? So that's why we're gonna let this cook down before we put it over our hot steaming rice, okay? Once again, guys, you can buy Tony base mix, and you can hack this recipe. But I like it the homemade way. I like it with the homemade brown gravy. I like it with a lot of seasoning in it. Onions, green onions, and garlic. You can use powdered garlic. You can use fresh garlic. Whatever you prefer. And you're going to eat this wonderful recipe over rice, guys. Okay? Now, as you can see, your gravy is thickening up, guys. You want it thick. You don't want to put it over your rice watery, okay? Now, the recipe says, the recipe on the back of your crawfish says to cook your crawfish 10 minutes. But guys, it don't take these crawfish that long to cook, okay? Sometimes if you overcook the crawfish or shrimp, it becomes a little rubbery, okay? So we don't want that taste. So now we are going to show you how this recipe came out. I am going to share my presentation of this wonderful recipe, guys. You'll love it. This is a wonderful presentation of our crawfish, guys. That's how your crawfish gonna look once you get done cooking this wonderful recipe. And I am going to put all the ingredients in the description of the video when I post it. Thank you guys for coming in my kitchen and keeping me company and learning a wonderful new recipe with me. And with Sheila, and I'll see you on the next video, guys. Bye-bye.